Get ready for the third episode of Sisucast. Join us as we dive into the world of South African architecture and interior design with Andy Goedhals, the visionary behind Vrijstak. Discover the secrets behind this creative process, explore the essence of Vrijstak, and gain insights into Andy's journey balancing entrepreneurship with fatherhood.
Hey, so here we are with Andy from Cape Town, all-around creative musician and architect.
Yeah.
So can you give us the viewers a short introduction about what you do?
Well, I live in Cape Town. I originally came here to work as an architect when I finished my master's. I studied for many years, studying architecture, etc. And then I came here to work, but it lasted about 7 months. And then I left for the United States and sort of traveled between there and here, and that's been ongoing for the last 10 years.
So, what is it like to be a young entrepreneur in Cape Town?
Cape Town is a ever-evolving and very exciting place to be. Currently, I think in terms of design, architecture, specifically furniture, which is something that I've recently gotten into. There's a diversity that I think only exists here compared to, I guess there's just a very interesting cross-pollination of different cultures and different design, different fresh new things. So at the moment it's a very exciting place to be.
Cool.
Okay.
So on that note, what inspires you in Cape Town? So think about music, fashion, of course it can be nature, which is amazing around here.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I think nature has been always an undercurrent inspiration for me personally, and being in such a beautiful place, there's constantly interaction with nature, and it's often a place for, or at least for myself, it's a place that I go for grounding and for often to seek inspiration. It's kind of the remedy for most things, whether it's on some of the trails in the mountains or surfing. I seek inspiration in nature, but I find a lot of inspiration from the fashion industry and clothing, and there's a very interesting thing happening in this city and in South Africa, I think in general, as it's, I think, somewhat entering the world stage as a design hotspot or hub, and there's a lot of exciting stuff happening.
So when I work with my clients on branding, I always ask the question, what kind of company or creative or other disciplines would you like to collaborate with?
Following the thread of fashion and my inspiration from fashion, Gucci does these armoires, which is like a wardrobe. And I think recently there was like a campaign, I think they did it with Ryan Gosling, there's like this campaign of all of these suitcases. I thought it would be really, really interesting to collaborate my brand, Vrijstak, with Gucci in an armoire collection. It doesn't necessarily reflect, I don't own any Gucci clothing, and it would be a really interesting collaboration. I think so that would be like a dreaming big collaboration.
Yeah, nice. I love it when it's like these unexpected collaborations as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Another question I ask clients is that if your company, your business would be an icon or a persona, who would it be, or what kind of values would they portray?
That's interesting. I guess it's the thing of what I'm trying to do with my company is it was originally one of the largest furniture manufacturing companies in South Africa, Southern Africa, and they applied themselves to design in a way that they weren't listening to anything that was happening here. They were kind of looking to the future, and it was in that retro-futuristic period, which was I'm obsessed with that, and I think it is kind of in vogue again now. People are looking into that era and it's kind of enjoying it. I guess the mid-century is part of that, and the fascination and obsession with the mid-century, sort of the base of where this company that I have started, and now we're in a period where I want to continue that ethos and that spirit of innovation and not conforming to, kind of has to be bigger than trends, and it has to be, it's a bolder, more robust conceptual framework that is not, it isn't any style. It reminded me, a few days ago I was listening to a podcast Rick Rubin, he's a very interesting guy with his Tetragrammaton podcast. I really love, the inspiration that I've drawn from that specifically is immense. But he was talking about this kind of thing, and then he spoke about there were a few people who were like this, and David Bowie was one of them, where he was kind of this thing that didn't fit into his timeline, and he came from, and this was his own sort of narrative, I think, but I think he believed it as his reality of like, I don't fit in this, and I'm this completely different thing. So that's kind of who I'd like to mold if there had to be a persona for my company. Yeah.
What is it like to be a first-time parent and juggling work and being parent to a newborn?
I think nobody can quite prepare you for any of this, and nobody can quite give you a rule book. And I guess that's the same for anything in life. But specifically, ours has been quite a difficult journey, and the juggling of everything has been very difficult. And I think it's also, in some ways, it's like fast forwarding my threshold for being in control of things, because there's a lot more going on in other, Jack's only 6 months now, but there's a lot more going on and having to control different variables. So that's been, I think I'm growing as a person big time. But in terms of the day-to-day, it definitely is quite a juggle. We had our door put back on the studio here because just so that I could carve out a couple hours in the day from my Colorado-based architecture projects, which I'm working on during the day, and then the furniture collaboration and all of the stuff that entails. I'm at my limit, I think. It's made me realize what I'm capable of in a lot of ways, and it's been supporting a family and supporting each other through this very difficult and testing time. So I think it's not easy, but I think also it's been an incredibly humbling and beautiful experience meeting this little baby, which we almost can't believe that we made. Like the biological part of it is still just blows our mind every day.
Another one of your creations, basically.
Yeah. That was a joke that was running a long time. When I relaunched this company, it was the same time that everything was happening. Was this, and there were 2 babies last year, basically, that were being relaunched. Or no, this one was being relaunched. Jack was being launched for the first time.
2 babies launched. Do you have any future goals for the moment?
I think in terms of the future, I think I'd be interested to have this company expand to a point that I can focus more than 50% of my energy into it. And so that it's worthwhile for that. I think in terms of our growth as a company, I would like to see, I think, more in-house manufacturing. At the moment, we outsource a lot of our pieces. I think it's an interesting way that we're doing things, and it could potentially work that because we build everything in components, and it's all different skill set manufacturing that kind of comes together. And that's working quite well at the moment, but I would like to have it under one roof. So I think sort of near future goals would be a factory. And then I guess like pie in the sky, sort of big future goals. I'd like to see where I can take Frystock in this company, and there's so many different corners that I'd like to push into. There's different housing solutions, different, I guess prefabricated housing and large-scale prefabricated buildings is something that is of interest to me, and it's similar to our concept of assembled components in terms of kits for building, and it all comes down to like some of my core initial obsessions with Lego and Duplo and those type of building blocks.
So IKEA, but like more in a sustainable and durable way.
Yeah, in some way, and I think even going further than furniture and larger units. There's all these different concepts that we want to get around to building in terms of pods for properties, all the way to real architecture that can be sort of assembled. I guess it's just challenging the current system of building, and that's something that's interesting to me. And as being trained as an architect, I'm constantly trying to weave that into what I'm doing, which is tricky. And it's also something that is occurring to me that I almost would like to reinvent the title of architect in some way as well, which is something that's interesting. I feel like I don't know if it's really happening, but it feels like the architect is getting a bit watered down. It's like the profession is changing, and I think this could be a way to stay relevant, at least for my own endeavors and for my own sort of architectural profession and my journey.
Question. Tell us one thing, a unique thing that you think the audience would like to know.
I guess there's these different roles in my life. I've got different, almost personas, and maybe someone might say it's a Gemini thing or something. That I have different hats that I wear, or literally hats, or different personas that I put on.
Likewise.
It helps me cope with the different. There's definitely different versions of me, but I think it definitely is distilling to like this like one, which I'm sort of okay with. But in any case, one of the personas was I've done quite a lot of work in Colorado, and that's like this very cowboy sort of area, or like, I guess not cowboy, but very, very Western style. And I have a pair of I would like to say like half-heeled cowboy boots that I sometimes wear, and I thought that's something that could be quite interesting for the audience.
You still do, or you did there?
I've got them, and I take them with me because I do trips there on occasion for work, and I take them with me. I've only worn them once in Cape Town, to like a rock and roll show or something. But yeah, they've even got like a bit of a sound, like on the heel, they're really nice cowboy boots. But yeah, I mostly get made fun of when I wear them around. But yeah, that's, I guess, something that's interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that, no. Thank you. Okay, the final question. I will catch up with another creative or entrepreneur after you. And I was curious to know, what would you like to know from this person? So I'm going to ask this question to the next person.
Okay, good. I guess I'll follow on from, I mentioned Rick Rubin, and I've been reading his book that he's, I don't know, most people started reading it. I think it was out in December. It's kind of doing its rounds. And the question that I was trying to answer this question every couple of days, or at least it's an ongoing question, and I think that the answer also can change. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fixed thing or an opinion, but I think, so the question is, where do you think creativity comes from? And that can be a personal question, or it can be a question that is for the sort of general public, or it can be for you as a person. So yeah, that would be my question. Where does creativity come from? And I think, and it also, it's not limited to like, I think this is quite important, it's not limited to an art form, or what would be perceived as creativity, and this is a lot of what that book speaks about. So I think I'll read the book if you want to learn more about that. But I think that the idea is that creativity is in everything. You can put your shoes on with creativity or whatever. So yeah, that's the question. Where does your creativity come from?
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Andy, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.